This is How Do I Do This? The show for anyone asking, is it just me or is this a lot? Since I started sharing my journey, I have heard from several of you that people said to you the very unhelpful thing, at least you had time to prepare. So today, we're going to bust that myth. At the table with me today, I have my best friend, Ellen Flechas, who is part of the group of the moms that hold me together. She watched her mom's health slowly decline, where she had breast cancer that then spread to her brain. And at the same time, Ellen was battling her own battle with breast cancer too. You're going to hear three things today. The idea of being prepared is absolutely a myth, what resilience actually looks like, and how friendship can carry us when life unravels. Ellen, I'm so glad you're here.
Hi. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey. So before we get into it, we have the tradition that we have tea around my grandma's kitchen table with her tea set. What tea did you pick out?
I have the hibiscus Meghan Markle tea because we love her.
We do. We love her. She's fabulous. So let's set the stage and tell people how long we have been friends and give them the short version, how we met, and what that looks like.
I like to say that the universe just brought us together. It was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan and I really didn't know anybody when we started law school. Down in Jackson, Mississippi, we were at Mississippi College. And I think, 5 days after orientation, Hurricane Katrina hit the coast. And I didn't know a soul. I had met Ryanne when she came guns blazing out the door and was like, we got to go eat dinner. Big old sunglasses, and we figured out that we both liked Elton John, and it was like, okay, you're cool, I'm cool, we'll be all right. So Ryan invited me over to, your townhouse, and we literally were in the hallway away from all the windows for days.
Without
power. And
before smartphones,
and we just had no other choice but to sit there and talk, and we just delved so deep,
spill our guts.
We let it all out, and so by the time those few days were over, we were quick besties and haven't looked back since.
I know, and we talk on the phone almost every day.
Yes, because I live in Memphis. You're here in Atlanta.
Yeah,
and so.
Sometimes multiple times a day if you ask her.
Totally multiple times a day. And if I'm not picking up your call or vice versa, we're like, what's going on?
Yeah, we're like, what's happening? Yeah. When either of us gets silent, that's always the sign she's not in a good place.
Yeah. If you go silent, that's when I text Dan like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. And you're the godmother to my son.
Yes.
And I'm the godmother to your son.
Yes.
And so, it's just a very, very special friendship. So, set the scene for me of what life looked like for you 5 years ago. I mean, I can't believe.
I know.
I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was. We were approaching the 5-year mark for my diagnosis with breast cancer. And I'm still like a little uncomfortable even acknowledging that we're hitting the 5-year mark, because for those who've been through cancer, for whatever rhyme or reason, the 5-year mark is sort of this big benchmark that you're like, if we can just get there, we can just get there. But so I was diagnosed on my 39th birthday on October 9th, and it was still pretty fresh into the pandemic. At the same time, my mom had been dealing with breast cancer that had spread to her brain, and it was just really shitty. It was just really shitty.
I remember us just crying on the phone.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. And it was one of those things where you're going, is this real? Is this really happening? And
in the middle of a plague.
And we were, Brandon couldn't even come in with me to the doctor's office. I mean, it was, I was very fortunate in that even though I was already getting screening because of my mom's, history with breast cancer, I had a clean mammogram, the year before.
Like only 10 or 11 months, right?
Yeah. And I had felt something, and, I had my husband, hey, that doesn't feel right. And, went in for another mammogram with ultrasound, and it was just, and I will say this to everybody listening because I take this moment. For me as a woman, we're taught when you do your self exams, you always do it standing up in the shower. My lump, you could not feel when I was standing. You could only feel it when I was laying down. So I encourage every woman out there, when you're doing your exams, please make sure you do it laying down as well. But so fast forward, there I was, being diagnosed on my 39th birthday, while also being a mom of two and an attorney, and caring for my mom who was not doing well.
Yeah. So tell me, tell those people who are listening, because I know, like, what did her progression look like and feel like for you? Because I know there were several times we talked about it was just like the slow walk to goodbye.
Yes. So for her, because of the placement of her, where her breast cancer had gone to, she required a craniotomy and a lot of radiation to the brain. And unfortunately, she lost a lot of her ability to speak. She could speak, but not my mom, not the way she was before. And so because of that, it created, a lot of challenges for myself and my father, especially when we were trying to care for her. Mm-hmm. She couldn't quite always express to us what her needs were. So here we were trying to piece it together. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I would say for those that are going through this process, especially if you are a caregiver. It is so important to have those uncomfortable but open conversations with your loved ones, so you do know what what their wishes are. How do they feel if they need to go into a facility? Do they not? I mean, there came a point in time where it was very clear. My mom, prior to losing a lot of her ability to speak, she was not going back to the hospital. Come hell or high water, mm-hmm. Her foot was put down, and that was it. And there came a time where I had to flip from, I'm the daughter that wants my mom. No, Mom, let's keep fighting, to say, okay, I'm her advocate. I have to be okay with that. And, and same with my father. And that's where it was at. So it was at some point there was an interesting flip from daughter to advocate and caregiver.
Yeah. So, the day came where you sent me that text. We kind of knew it was coming. Did any of those months beforehand make you feel prepared?
Ooh, girl, no. I mean, okay. Let me take that back. My mantra throughout my cancer, my treatment, caring for my mom, raising, my children in the thick of all this, because my children were also very much so in the front lines with my mom, was control the controllable. Yeah. I'm going to control the controllable.
And to be clear, because you're not going to say this, but I'll say it. You were your mom's main caregiver in addition to your dad. Yes, I mean, y'all did have help. Y'all were fortunate, but mm-hmm. you were going by there multiple times a day. You were making sure the groceries were stocked at their house, mm-hmm. because your dad was still practicing law. And so mm-hmm. you were doing all of those things so that he could still make the money to afford the home health. And you were doing so many, mm-hmm. you were running your household and their household too.
And
caring for her.
I'm concerned about my father.
Right.
Because, I mean, we all hear about when one parent goes, sometimes the other could go quickly. Right. So I'm also worried about him. So, and my husband, Brandon, was so unbelievable in that way, mm-hmm. So whether it was, we were doing shipped orders or Brandon was going by to help out, to fix something at the house mm-hmm. or whatever. So we were in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So not prepared.
No, but I will say there were some things. So as a mama, that was where so much of my anxiety came from, because I was so concerned about what are my kids thinking about this? You know, they started to have sleepless nights, especially our daughter Claudia. And Brandon and I are big believers in being honest with our kids. You know, we would be doing them a disservice if we weren't letting them know what was happening, if we were hiding what was going on. And so throughout this process, I learned about this whole concept of anticipatory grief, which I don't know what that was beforehand. And it was actually somebody at my daughter's school that had mentioned that phrase to me, one of the counselors there, because she was always having to go to the nurse about her tummy being upset, and come to find out with little kids, oftentimes the anxiety manifests with their stomach hurting. But there were things I was able to do, not so much for me, but for my children, that helped with that anticipatory grief. So
how do you define anticipatory grief?
Well, anticipatory grief is when it's inevitable that loss is coming. There's no denying it. And that was very clear with my mom. She was not getting better. She was starting hospice. It was only a matter of time. And that time is brutal time. What you are seeing as the light slowly goes out of your loved one is unbelievably painful. And it's not just painful for you, it's painful for everybody. She was the matriarch of our family. And so in Memphis, there's this beautiful program called Good Grief that is there to help children through loss and loved ones through loss. And so they actually were able to get into a program there where they had individual counseling on what to expect when you lose a loved one. Where do they go? So that made me feel better. And I also went, as well. So yes, you cannot prepare ever for the moment where you're not able to pick up the phone and call your mom. I still do it. It's been 3 years. I get in the car and I want that. Nothing prepares you for that. But there were some things that I could do to get the right language, the right verbiage. And that came in the form of reaching out to this program to get my kids and myself set up for some counselings for the anticipatory grief.
So for somebody listening who doesn't have a program like Good Grief nearby, what's me, I love words. What's some language that you used with your children to help them start grasping this big idea? Because it's hard for us as grown adults, but with kids, I still wonder if I'm saying the right thing to my son. And
girl, me too.
I took so much wisdom from you, especially those first few hours when I found out. And I remember I just kept saying, I don't know what to do. How do I do this, Ellen? Tell me what to do. So tell the people listening and watching, what are some of the conversations or things you did to help them with that anticipatory grief?
So if we're talking about children specifically, I will tell you there is this beautiful book that's called Ida Always. And it is about these two polar bears. And
I remember you bought it for.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful, beautiful storybook to help kids start to understand this concept of when you lose somebody you love, but that they're always in your heart. So for me, it really helped. And for Brandon, like when we would sit down with the kids at story time, we would read that, and it would allow us to talk about Yaya going without talking about Yaya going. It was a safer space for the kids to have that conversation, or I say safer, maybe not quite as uncomfortable, right?
For them. Like, let's sit down and have a chat.
Yes. But and this is a tough one for a lot of people, but kids don't understand this quote, oh, they passed away. They're going to pass away. Pass away? What does that mean? If they're away, they're coming back. And so you have to be honest and say, Yaya's going to die, and that's hard. But again, I think in being direct in an age appropriate way is really what is going to allow the kids to get the right vocabulary to in the long term express what they're feeling.
Well, and knowing that your children are so different to each other, but they share similarities. Did you see differences from like a male and a female perspective, or just age difference? Like, how did you kind of navigate both of their needs collectively and individually?
Yes, definitely differences, whether it's male or female, I don't know. But one, our son he's Mr. Extrovert. I always want to make people laugh. I worried about him in the sense of he's quick to put on a mask, right? And you have to keep in mind, while all this was going on, I was not my best self. I mean, I was, recovering from, double mastectomy with numerous failed surgeries. I think I had 5 total, going through chemo. So it was, for my son, I was really concerned about him masking. So, trying, and he was, masking his anxiety. So I had to Brandon had to create an opportunity where he felt safe to say those, yucky words. I'm scared, I'm sad, I'm angry. For our daughter, Claudia, she was much younger. So in some ways that was a blessing, in that she intellectually couldn't quite figure out what was going on. However, hers definitely manifested more in broken sleep, lots of crying, sometimes big tantrums and feelings, and falling on the floor. So it was different. And I'm so blessed that I have, again, Brandon, who's so supportive, but we also had a really great support system of mamas, and that were there to show up for my kids when I wasn't able to still carry on that sort of that safe space for them.
Yeah. So, it was during the pandemic, and in a normal world, I would have been in the car the day you got the diagnosis.
Oh, yeah.
I would have been like, but I couldn't. My love looked like sending Amazon things to your house.
That brown box was showing up. Like, Brandon was like, if she sends another blanket.
I know. Well, and I think there was even one time Brandon was like, tell Ryanne to quit doing things. And you said, and you're like, I'm not going to tell Ryanne how to spend her money.
No,
I'm sorry.
Like, this is how she's helping.
Yes,
I get it.
Because I was reaching the end of the internet of like what things you needed. But, there were so many times I just was so, and even now thinking about it, in awe of you, because where did that resilience come from? Where did it look like? Because I know you had times when you cracked, but never for long.
Yeah.
I mean, in I say not long in retrospect, but I mean, maybe it was long. It's been a moment, but where did the resilience come from?
Well, 2 places. Number one, as you know, and my mom was a polio survivor. And she was the definition of pull yourself up from your bootstraps and, power through. One of her favorite phrases was, suck it up, buttercup. Do what you got to do and don't complain.
I remember our first semester studying for law school exams. Yeah. We called her whining because we were tired, and we were like,
no patience for that.
No sympathy. But she did say, "Oh, use the credit card and go eat a nice steak dinner." So we were thankful for that. But
she would usually throw the credit card.
Right. So she'd throw money at the problem. But yeah, she had no patience for like.
Yeah. So my mom was just this, and she herself was an attorney and raised 3 kids, and she was just amazing. She was a social worker before she became that. So number one, I was so blessed to have not only her as a mom, but her as an example of this will not define me. And that's what I tell people that I meet, especially that have been on this cancer journey. Like, this is just a moment. This will not define you. So I was very, very lucky to have her as my role model. But also it was my children. I mean, my children were on those days where I didn't know what I was going to do. I couldn't believe that this was happening. And talk about a mind trip when you have breast cancer and your mom is dying from breast cancer. Like, I couldn't help but, is that going to be me?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what's happening? Even though thankfully mine was caught rather early. But my children were that's where my resilience came from, because I needed to show up for them and be there for them to the best of my abilities.
Yeah. So your mom passed away. I still can't say the DIE word.
Girl, you got to work on that.
I know I do. I do. I can't say it. And then I called you like really immediately. You didn't answer the phone. You were busy, but then I sent you a text and then the phone rang. And then you walked and are walking with me through mine. How do you think your experience shaped how you showed up for me as a friend?
Well, unfortunately, you became a member of the club that nobody wants to be a part of last November. So I think it's just I know what brought me some peace during those, choppy waters. And so of course you want to, pay that forward when someone's in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot, we've lived a lot in 5 years. Everybody has, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pandemic, everybody's carrying heavy stuff. And I think our friendship has always been rock solid, but in a lot of ways it's changed for the better. I didn't think we would be sitting at a table doing a podcast.
Girl.
5 years later. Did you know? No, I did not.
No.
But how do you think our friendship has changed?
Well, you sometimes will say, you've told me this story many times, that the last thing my mom said to you was, you girls take care of one another. And that's so true, and aren't we so lucky? I oftentimes will tell my kids, you're the family we choose, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really even think about showing up for you. It's just, and for your family, it's just natural. But we girls are just taking care of one another. It's
so funny. I haven't thought about that in months, but it's true. It was one of the last conversations we had where she could actually put her phrases together, and it was a little broken and there were pauses, and she just looked at me very serious and she said, you girls take care of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was her wisdom. Mm-hmm. That was her wisdom to us. So what would you say to friends who've known each other a long time, and you and I both experienced this, good friends who just death and hard is uncomfortable for them, but they're trying to figure out how to show up? What advice would you give them?
Oh, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, just don't even, because you're so in the weeds that half the time I didn't know what the hell I needed. You know what I mean? I had no clue. And then the thought of trying to sort that out was so overwhelming. And so I think you just have to do it. It's a one, it was and it's helpful to speak with, people would touch base with Brandon, or in your situation, I would touch base with Dan, but I didn't wait for the invitation to help. You just figure out what's best. And I know for us, like, that could have meant we had people, offer to take the kids. We had people offer to, one of the things that was really, really great when I was going through my treatment was they would, on a rotating basis, they would drop off activities for my kids, crafts for my kids, little toys for my kids, things to keep them occupied where they could maybe curl up on the couch next to me and I could play with them while they, were doing this.
While
craft.
your body was resting, but
yes.
you could be a part of them
so,
doing stuff.
So you just, if you have somebody, whether it's a friend, a coworker, a family member that is going through, whether it's an illness or they're caring for a loved one or they've just lost somebody, you really just need to show up and do something. Don't do not wait, because I feel like 9 times out of 10, a person is not even going to know what to ask that they need help for.
Yeah. I know, like with you, when you had made the decision to get chemotherapy, we're so lucky to live in the age of Google. I went down the Google rabbit hole of all the things you might experience symptoms, and then research the best thing for it. Like, you were like, what is this lip balm? I was like, you may get severe chapped lips with chemo. I was like, and this lip balm is apparently the jam that everybody says you need. And you're like, okay. You know, and so you had lip balm. I don't know if you ever needed it. I don't know if you ever had that side effect, but it was there. So just act. I mean,
I think you just have to act.
Yeah.
You know, and don't smother the person, obviously, but just those little gestures. And I know, at least for us, and it was really, really nice that we just kept like a box outside, because sometimes you don't want to open the door. You don't even want to have that, like, hey,
small
how are
talk.
I didn't want to. Brandon didn't want to. So like, we would have a box outside.
Did it have a note on it, or did y'all just tell people?
Usually, honestly, girl, I don't remember. But I believe a lot of this was just communicated through text, you know. And I mean, Brandon was sort of the king of letting everybody know.
I love that tip, though, to just have a box on the front porch, because small talk can be so exhausting.
They really don't, and don't take it personal. That they don't. So whether it's we would have a box. We also have a cooler if it was something food related that really gave Brandon anxiety. So, but yeah,
because he's a weirdo. Right. So,
but I'll say one thing that you and I have talked about jokingly, but it is really, really, I was so fortunate that pretty early on with my mom getting sick is when, and then with my diagnosis, I myself started therapy, and I cannot even imagine where I would have been at through this process if I was not proactive in getting myself into counseling. Because when somebody is caring for their loved one as they fade away, it is, you don't have this place. It's like you don't, it wasn't even an option to grieve what was happening as it was happening. But when I went into my therapy session, that was my place where I could start that process, because I would oftentimes say it's like death by 1,000 cuts, right? It was just this really slow. And so if someone is in that situation where they are, again, they know they're going to lose a loved one, I would strongly encourage them. There's lots of resources out there. They can do it virtually now. There's group sessions that deal with the anticipatory grief. But that was a lifesaver for me, both with being a caregiver, but also dealing with my own, treatment.
Yeah. So one last question before we go. What do you think, because your mom was so special to me and so important in my life and instrumental in my career, and she gave me you, and I was one of her girls. I felt fortunate that she loved me, because she didn't love everybody. What do you think she would think about us sitting around having a podcast?
I mean, she'd be like, where's the wine? Can I pull up a seat? Like, all right, what are we talking about?
What do you think she would want?
She'd be really proud. I mean, my mom was a trailblazer, as you know, and she was definitely a fierce advocate for other women, and she would be beaming. She'd be so proud of you for not being afraid to pivot. Well, but I mean, girl, this is a big pivot from, attorney, where you're behind the scenes, to you thrust yourself right in front of the camera. And so she would love that. I think she'd be proud of both of us.
Yeah, she would definitely be proud of you. What do you think she wants listeners to know?
Oh gosh. Being honest, it's like, don't complain.
Yeah.
Count your blessings.
Yeah.
Which maybe isn't, as I've learned in therapy, isn't always the healthiest approach, but it could always be worse.
Yeah. And there's more good most days.
Yes, correct. And again, this doesn't define you. This is one aspect of you.
Yeah.
It does not define you.
I agree. I think she would be, I know she's so proud of you.
Aw.
I know you, even though she gave you hell a lot, that she loved you. And I know in those last few months that even though she couldn't articulate it, when I saw her, the look in her eye was that she was so happy that you were with her, that it was you. I mean, you were her rock. You and your dad.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so before we go, we have the fabulous 5 questions.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So we've talked a lot about your mom, but I know you were close to your grandma too, your grandma Claudia. But one piece of wisdom from either of them that you want people to remember besides don't complain.
I'm like, oh. It would never show up empty-handed.
That's a good one.
You know, especially from the grandmas. You never show up empty-handed.
No, I mean, that's like good Southern etiquette. And I think even if you don't live in the South, like you're never going to be wrong by bringing a bottle of wine.
No, never.
And flowers, provided they're in a vase. You don't want your host to have to then stop what they're doing. But yeah. So in your dark moments when life has gotten really loud, besides a Starbucks run, which I know you love, what is one thing that is comforting to you that really gets you through?
So here recently, it really has been, well, obviously it's talking to my girlfriends, but going for a walk and talking to a friend together is really, really great.
Yeah, I love our walk and talks.
Yeah. And now we've just thrown on a weighted vest because, we're 40-somethings.
Right, right. Because that's what we do now. That's what we do. That's our uniform.
But yeah, the movement really helps.
Yeah. Most sacred or sentimental thing in your home?
Not my lovely husband and children.
No, besides like a thing.
Thing.
A different type of noun.
Thing would probably be paintings by my mom or her red glasses. My mom was a big red glasses, round glasses eyewear.
She always had fabulous eyewear.
Yeah.
If you could ask God any one unfiltered question and get an answer, what are you asking?
Oh God, I don't know about that one, girl. It probably, well, I don't know. What am I asking?
Yeah.
It probably would have been, why did I have to go through cancer? And it wasn't just me. It was my husband going through it too, and our children. Because that was tough.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I know it lives rent-free in my head, that worry about you. So I can't imagine how it is for you.
Yeah. It takes up a lot of real estate still. So
yeah. Takes up real estate in my brain. It didn't happen to me. So I can't, I want to know that too, because that was some bullshit.
Yeah.
Especially the timing was really bullshit.
I'm thankful though, because on the other side, I think there were some fundamental changes that I've made in my life that I don't think I would have done. I would have slowed down to do had I not faced mortality like that.
I agree. I've seen you grow and develop and find your voice in really beautiful ways that you otherwise wouldn't have. I agree with that. And so if we can find something to be thankful for.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're an amazing mom even on your worst day, but I've seen you really, really lean into what it looks like to be a good mom for your children and a good wife and a good friend. And the best is yet to come. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So your ride or die swear word or phrase or what
shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true.
Just a good old classic.
It's true. Yeah, because I remember you'll call me and you'll be like, listen to this shit, and I'm like, tell me.
I'm like, no.
Tell me. Well, thank you so much for being here and for sharing all the advice and wisdom, and
I love you, girl.
I love you for being the family that I always need.
Right back
Always.
at you. Right back at you. Proud of you.
I'm proud of you. That's it for today. You can ache for who you were before everything changed and still become someone new. Grief and growth sit at the table, often passing notes when we're not looking. This tea, this time, this space is part of your healing, and it's part of mine too. You're not broken, you're just brewing. And besties, we do not gatekeep around here. So if this poured goodness into your cup today, share it with a friend. Like, follow, and your seat at the table will be waiting for you. Follow along on Instagram at How Do I Do This Pod and on YouTube at How Do I Do This Pod. DM me on Instagram and tell me what kind of grief you're holding right now. Seriously, I'll read every one and will probably be the person to respond back. Tell me what you have tried that you think might help me. I'm open to trying anything that's not illegal. Your story might find its way into one of our future episodes.